and we appreciate your perspective. For now, viewers, let's move on and tell you that the United Nations has called for swift and impartial investigations into Israeli strikes in Lebanon, including last week's attack on the al-Hilweh Palestinian refugee camp that killed 13 people, including 11 children. Now, since the November 27, 2024 ceasefire, more than 330 people have been killed and 945 wounded, with at least 127 civilians among the fatalities. Now, the UN has said that Israel should investigate its strikes, while Lebanon should examine any violations on its side. The Rights Office has also warned that continued Israeli attacks have damaged civilian infrastructure, hindered reconstruction, and prevented over 64,000 displaced people from returning home. The UN has urged all parties to respect the ceasefire and noted Israel's construction of a wall near the Blue Line has restricted access to local lands, though Israel maintains it does not cross the UN demarcated border. Now, Adrian Calamil, who's a terror scholar from New York, joins us live. I thank you for joining us here at NewsX World. How do you see the progress in this direction after the UN observations?
Thank you for having me, first of all, and good evening to all your viewers. This is going to be an issue for, we're going to see more and more of this. I would say this has been if you talk about the strike on the refugee camp, the al-Hilweh camp, there were 2 Hamas operatives and possibly a few more that were targeted there. We have to look at the peace plan that's been proposed by Trump. Hamas is supposed to be disarming right now. So what I expect to see, and this is what we saw there, is Hamas moving out of the conflict zone, that conflict zone, into another one and kind of disguising itself in there. And actually before October 7th, 2023, we did see 2 isolated attacks that were actually Hamas carrying out attacks from Lebanese soil. So that's kind of the situation with Hamas. And now the other thing we need to keep an eye on, obviously, is the situation south of the Litani River, which is supposed to be the buffer zone that's taking place right now. And really, that is supposed to have been a buffer zone for the last 20-something years or more. And it's been a real failure of the UN Security Council in Resolution 1701. So if you look at the strikes by Israel, especially this one, I think it was November, 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, it took out a key member of Hezbollah, Haitham Tabatabai, one of the few remaining. He's a first-generation Hezbollah member. His job was to reconstruct their Hezbollah's military capacity in the south. So this is what Israel is looking at, and this is kind of what they expected, that Hezbollah is not going to play by the rules of the UN. They're going to continue, as they have for the last 20, 30 years, to militarize south of the Litani and pose a threat. And Israel is trying to stop that from becoming a reality again after they degraded all those weapons depots, manufacturing sites, tunnels, command centers, what have you, during the 2 years of basically warfare that were happening in the region. As far as the UN investigation goes, the UN, I don't think is the right body to be investigating anything, quite frankly, especially when UNIFIL, which is the team in southern Lebanon, which is supposed to disarm and monitor Hezbollah, has done nothing for those decades. And then when you look inside Gaza, UNRWA was clearly involved with October 7th and elements of October 7th, including the kidnapping. So that's kind of my view on UN's ability to investigate these type of things.
All right, that was a very detailed response from you, and I thank you for sharing that with us. With that, viewers, let's move on and tell you that the Trump administration has also announced that it will end the temporary protected status for citizens of Myanmar in the United States. The decision is based on assessments that conditions in the country have improved and citizens can now return home safely. The latest move by the US comes amid ongoing political turmoil in Myanmar following the 2021 military coup that ousted the civilian government and sparked armed resistance across the country. Now, the US's Department of Homeland Security has confirmed that its Secretary Kristi Noem has already consulted with concerned US government agencies before terminating the temporary status. The termination will reportedly affect about 4,000 Myanmar nationals, with the status set to expire on the 26th of January next year. Meanwhile, the US State Department still continues to warn its citizens against travel plans to Myanmar, citing civil unrest, armed conflict, and inconsistent law enforcement. All right, and now let's move on and tell you that according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index, US President Donald Trump's family wealth has fallen by more than $1 billion. And this is driven largely by steep losses in their high-risk cryptocurrency and meme coin investments. The Trump family's exposure to volatile digital assets has significantly eroded their net worth, bringing it down from approximately $7.7 billion in early September to about $6.7 billion now. Bloomberg analysis notes that a substantial portion of the decline stems from the sharp downturn in value of meme coins and other speculative crypto holdings linked to the Trump brand. Trump and his family's move into cryptocurrency and non-fungible tokens, unique digital assets, has still been enormously lucrative overall, boosting their family wealth by billions, particularly since the president returned to office. And that's a wrap here on America 360 on NewsX World. Keep watching.